All right, and joining me today is Robert Valentin, who fights Ateba Gautier at UFC 318 in New Orleans. That fight is on June 19th. So, Robert, I want to start here by talking about your last fight, and I'm sure it's not, the fondest memory for you or anybody else because it was a weird result. It was a fight where I think we watched it in, there wasn't really a lot of damage done on his side. You did clearly the more damage. So my question for you is, with all that we've learned about in MMA scoring in the last few years, did you go to the judges thinking you had done enough in that fight?
No, no, I have to be honest on that one. So to win a fight, you need to actually win the fight. And even so, let me say it clearly. I don't think that he was winning a fight. Like if you let's say this, if this was a schoolyard brawl after 15 minutes, you wouldn't say that he won the fight. In MMA though, he did more of what it needs to win a fight, like, theoretically. But I have to also be honest with myself. So first two rounds, I wasn't doing a lot, and that was mainly a mental thing. I was going into this fight being a little, yeah, how can I say, not really believing in myself because I was like, oh, don't get tired. He's a wrestler. Oh, he's strong. You don't want to be under him and getting tired. It's like the worst scenario in a fight is getting tired against a wrestler. So first two rounds, I was kind of holding myself back from exploding too much, kind of energy preserving. And by the time it got to the third round, and I realized, fuck, I only have one round left, and I'm not tired at all. Then I let everything go, but it was too late. So it's a tough one. It's a tough one to watch, definitely, but it's also a tough one to score. But I have to be honest and say, yeah, on a yeah, if you want to look at it from a judge's perspective, you kind of have to give it to him. But yeah, it sucks. It just sucks.
Yeah, and so then from the takeaways from that, right? Like, so obviously we win or we learn, right? Like that's the motto that a lot of people carry in the world of MMA. Is the takeaway from that for you then the mental side of it, knowing that you can sort of dump it out right away and you're not going to get tired?
So yeah, the takeaway for me from this fight was to really believe in myself, because man, if you would have seen the amount of work I put in for that fight, wrestling, like I was working with Frank Hickman, who's maybe one of the best wrestling coaches in the game, and he would throw me in there with three, four guys back to back to back, and I would never get tired. And I have great cardio. Like this is one of the things that always was, one of my advantages. And coming out of that fight, and then Frank obviously was not in my corner, unfortunately, but we talked after that, and he was like, Robert, what the fuck? How? Why you didn't let it rip from the first? He would have been tired, not you. And I was like, sorry, I don't know. I had this mental thing that I was against the cage, and I was like, okay, wait a second, wait a little bit more. You don't want to be tired. Okay, wait a little bit more. And the takeaway is just fucking let it go. I have this energy. I have this power that I can push for 3 rounds easy. So yeah, just believe more in my gas tank and believe that I can, explode over and over again without getting tired.
Well, we're going to talk about your next chance to do that. But before we do, I wanted to talk a little bit about somebody else. You obviously come from the Ultimate Fighter house, and I know your buddy Daniil Donchenko is on the Ultimate Fighter right now. We watched him win his quarterfinal fight. He's
Yeah.
going to be in the semifinals soon. I know he's home. It's all tape delayed and whatnot. But before he went in, I know you guys are buds and training partners. Did you have some words of encouragement for him before he went in, or some
Yeah, of course.
advice?
So we lived together in Thailand. So So we know each other for a long time, and I consider him my little brother. He's been with me to a bunch of fights, cornering me. I've been with him to a bunch of fights, cornering him. We spend our free time together. We go through thick and thin, and we learn from each other. Like he's such a talented kid, such a great fighter, and I'm the more experienced, older guy. So we have both things to share. And obviously, me coming back from the Ultimate Fighter and he going into it, I was like, hey, bro, look, this is how I did it. So I set him up with my nutritionist um, who programmed for me like every day of the Ultimate Fighter how I need to do it to be on weight every time because you have to make weight back to back. That's kind of a challenge, right? Then I told him in which room he has to run. What is the best room in the house? And yeah, kind of prepared him also of how it will be feeling in there and what kind of mindset to keep. So this is all like I said it before, like either you're a temple or you're prison. So go in with the right mindset and it will be your temple. And he did exactly that. And in the first fight, great performance, good energy. So I'm super excited to see the semifinale. And yeah, funny story. Like I told him, look, bro, you come into the house first and everybody will run upstairs because they think the nice rooms are upstairs, but actually upstairs is shit because upstairs you will be in the same room with 8 people. So you run in, you take a left and take the last room on the floor on the right side, and you will have a nice bed and only one roommate, and it will be the best room. And he did exactly that.
That's awesome. Yeah, I love that. I love that. Now, was it weird too seeing yourself on the screen when you watched him? Because I know the hype video came up and it's like him training with you. Was it
Yeah,
weird seeing yourself in that package again?
I mean, so it was actually funny because one friend of mine called me after, he's like, Rob, in the last episode, in the last season, you were literally on every episode, and now it's a new season and you're still on it. And I was like, yeah, it's probably like, so, it's the same camera crew and they like me and I like them. We built such a great relationship. And they always told me, like, Rob, you're made for this fucking camera. And that's probably like they saw me in the introduction. It was like, we put this shit on. It fits so good. And yeah, I really look forward also to after the show telling kind of the story, me and him. And we have so much in common, but also we are so different. And yeah, it's a good thing and right time, right place. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Now let's get to talking about your upcoming fight too, because you mentioned before about being worried about gassing against a wrestler, because before you got Loader and before you got Finney, and like both of those guys, heavy wrestlers. Now you get Ateba Gautier, who, maybe a little bit less so with that. The guy likes to throw a little bit. Were you pleased when they came with you to the name Ateba Gautier?
So pleased. I was literally like, oh, come on, guys. Can I have a striker, please? I want to. It's so I know you have to work on your wrestling defense and everything, but on the other side is also you want to make exciting fights, right? And I think this matchup is just it's a fucking great matchup, and it's gonna be one of those fights. None of us is going to crutch sniff anyone or trying to make it boring. We're going in there throwing hard and trying to finish each other. And it's for me like you have to imagine how long I work now on my striking because before I was mainly a grappler, right? Even though I throw, but I was not a technical striker. So I worked so much on my striking and all I could show was this one fucking elbow in the Ultimate Fighter that lasted like 20 seconds. I want to go in there with a strike. I mean, with the Paddy McCory fight, we had some good exchanges, but I want to show it in the UFC. I want to have a fucking stand-up battle with small gloves and just punch each other in the mouth. And I reckon we're gonna get exactly that on July 19.
Well, that's perfect for my next question because I was going to ask you stylistically. Yeah, he's a striker. You're a guy who's improved your striking quite a bit. How do you see the difference in your striking? Where do you see the advantages in it?
So again, I think Muay Thai is the best striking art for MMA, and I'm basically a Muay Thai MMA fighter. So I know he has good kickboxing, good hands. You know, he actually finished his last fight with a knee. But there's a little bit more to striking, especially when it comes to MMA. Using the elbows, using the clinches, um, and I think I have a little bit more experience as well as him in hard fights. So he basically, it was hard to study him because he basically never fought a tough fight. So it's kind of hard to see how he reacts when shit gets tough. And I have that experience, especially also against very strong strikers. So I have maybe the difference will be that I can make more reads and capitalize on my experience in there and mix in many different techniques and just put a lot of volume and pressure on him.
Well, that leads me pretty much perfectly to my last question. I always like to end these things with a prediction. So tell me, June 19th, UFC 318, how's this one end?
So this one is gonna end bloody, that's for sure. So I don't think that we will go in there and have a pillow fight. You know, that's it's we're gonna shed some blood in there. And my prediction for this one is ground and pound TKO.
All right. Well, you heard it here first, folks. This has been Robert Valentin, who fights Ateba Gautier, UFC 318. That fight is in New Orleans on June 19th. Robert, thank you so much for the time, man. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Daniel. Appreciate it.